All right, we wanted to get to this ballot initiative, spend a little bit of time on this in Kansas. Let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. So Kansas primary voters, they are also choosing their nominees for a number of races. But the one we wanted to focus on here is a ballot initiative because they'll be the first state in the country to decide statewide on the right to abortion since the Supreme Court's June decision overturning Roe versus Wade. I'm reading from this USA Today article. They say putting abortion access at risk in one of the few Midwestern states that allows the procedure. A state constitutional amendment on the primary ballot asks voters whether they want to preserve the right to an abortion in Kansas, a right protected in a 2019 state Supreme Court ruling. So basically what happened here is there's language in the state's constitution that state Supreme Court interpreted as guaranteeing a right to abortion in that 2019 state Supreme Court ruling. The ballot initiative is to take that clause out of to amend the Constitution to get rid of that right to an abortion. And then that opens up the Kansas state legislature, which has a supermajority of Republicans in it to do whatever they want to do with regards to abortion. And, you could expect they're going to go through with some very stringent ban of the type that we've seen in other super red states as well. So if you vote yes, that means that you want the Republican legislature to be able to pass these sorts of bans. If you vote no, you want to keep the Constitution as is and protect the right as it exists. The polling has been relatively scarce. Obviously, again, Kansas, very conservative state. But, what we've seen from the polling is that even conservative places are not on board with the most stringent restrictions and bans that have been passed through a lot of Republican legislatures. So that puts the outcome very much in doubt here. The reporting from USA Today and other outlets indicates that this has been hotly contested, that there is a lot of attention, focus, energy on the ground around this issue that, you go, especially through the suburbs, everybody's got a yard sign, either vote yes or vote no, that people are extremely energized around this. And polling has been scant, but it seems to suggest that this is going to be ultimately a very close contest. Now, what some election observers are saying is that this could be a little bit of a bellwether of how much this issue matters to voters and how people feel about it and all of those things. So that's why this is being very closely watched here.
I'm watching the turnout like crazy. No matter I don't know how it's going to work out. I simply have no idea. Kansas is a red state, so it wouldn't be a surprise if the referendum did pass. But I actually think it's a cool way in order to do this. Put it to a referendum to the people of the state and actually make it like a direct one.
Direct democracy.
Especially on these issues, which, given state legislatures and their capture, this is the best way as a barometer to say, okay, how is this going to work out? It's directly to the people. They can campaign. It has become, as you said, a hot button issue in the state. So we're watching a couple of things. Democratic turnout, is that going to influence the overall election? 2, will new people actually come out and vote based upon this? 3, will the pro-lifers come out to defend their position or to try and enshrine it into law? So a lot of questions about activated political constituencies. And the reason it matters even more is it's not like Kansas is a very contested state. So this is on its merits, abortion alone, not a lot of confounding variables, and could tell us a lot about how the entire country is going to feel about this in the future, and not necessarily in 2022 or even 2024, but when other major ballot initiatives like this come up to a vote.
The one thing that I think gives Republicans and conservatives a bit of an advantage here, although there are probably even Republican voters who would vote no in the sort of pro-choice position on this amendment, but Republicans have a lot more at stake in the other primaries today. They're deciding for Secretary of State, they're deciding for Attorney General, and because it is such a Republican stronghold state, you're likely to have more Republicans energized to go and vote in those primaries. This is just me guessing what the landscape might ultimately look like. But it's definitely one that is interesting and fascinating to watch here. And I did think it was noteworthy the way that the people who want the amendment, who are, in the pro-life or anti-abortion position, the way that they're making the case, to me, is actually pretty revealing, because they're not going all in on we got to save the babies and we got to pass the ban and we got to, make sure that there's no abortions in the state. They're saying, this is abortion neutral. This actually, we just want to change this part of the Constitution, and then we'll let legislators decide what's appropriate for the state. But they are not actually leaning into the changes that they want to make. In fact, one person who claimed to be a spokesperson for like the coalition who's backing the amendment was caught saying, we've got the ban ready to go the minute that this happens, and the larger coalition distanced themselves from that individual. So it is interesting to me that even in a state like Kansas, they feel they need to frame their messaging around like, this is actually abortion neutral and doesn't and are not pushing that this would lead directly to a ban or the sorts of restrictions that we all know inevitably will.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. We're going to watch it all very closely and see how it works out, not only in the results, but the turnout. It's going to tell us a lot, possibly about the future. Also could be a wash. Who knows?
Who knows?
That's the fun part about watching politics.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.